Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's not time for us to enter the discussion proper. It's all about the minimum wage and the Governors Forum stand. It came up like a surprise. Nobody saw it coming. After the argument, after the strike, after the Tripartite Committee meeting to really deliberate on this, after the proposal was given to the President, and the President also accepting, Nigerians were like, yes, it's a done deal, waiting for it to be taken to the National Assembly. All of a sudden, the Governor Forum, led by Yari, was like, look, Nigerians, we are sorry, we just can't pay. And he gave good reasons. And he said if they must pay, there are some conditions that must be met. We'll talk about those conditions. With me here in the studio, I have a labor devotee, and of course, a political analyst, social affair commentator, you just name it, national and international politics. He's well grounded. Join me, welcome, Money Mike Modesty Itua. Welcome to the show, sir.
Listen, good
I
morning.
appreciate your comment.
Viewers, good morning to all of you.
And of course, we're very close to him. He's my friend, my brother. Yeah, a friend of the house, an entrepreneur. We talk about international forum, Africa discourse, local international politics. He's well grounded, and of course, an entrepreneur. Yeah, join me, welcome, Ras Samuel Ehigato. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Wilson, too.
All right.
Good morning, viewers.
Nigerians are taken aback. Nigerians are like surprised. Many of them didn't see this coming. Why very few saw it coming? Now, the reactions of the Governors Forum. I want to start off from you, Samuel, before I come to the labor devotee, because it's like we know where it's going to pitch his tent, so let me just leave out of it for now. For what the Governors Forum decided to do, would you want to deduce that the Tripartite Committee didn't take them along when we talk about the submission of the 30,000 Naira minimum wage?
Well, Wilson, when I came here last time, we discussed about this minimum wage, I made some very, very important points very clear, that as at present, we are paying 18,000, I claim. Apart from certain states that are paid more than that, like Edo State, before now. Some cannot even pay the salary. Some are owing months of salary, stock back, arrears. You understand me? Then you came up, you want a hike in the salary. Good, it has been given. But I told you then too that if it comes up, we are going to hear a lot of complaints from the governors. I don't believe they were not carried along. You were not carried along. I was carried along. Everybody was carried along. We saw the whole discussion going on here and there. Okay, maybe in the last meeting that we had in the night to avoid the strike actions and otherwise. Good. It's a good thing. 30,000 Naira. It's not too much. But we have to think of what follows it. What follows it? There are a lot of things that follows it that are not very, very clear to us right now. The governors are just complaining of their own because they have their problem already set down. Because if they cannot even pay the 18,000 owing salaries of arrear, how are they going to get the 30,000 to even now pay the people? Talk less of clearing the arrears and now start paying the new. So I think there's going to be a lot of adjustment done. It might be a bailout from the federal government. There might be other
bailout again.
I think they said the EFCC should give us an account of what they have saved so far. Maybe from there we'll get some bailout again. But those governors are crying. They like collecting, but we never know what they do with it.
All right.
Let me leave it there for
all right. I'll come back to you.
Follow.
All right. Just hold on.
Tsunami that goes with the increase.
All right. Now, like what you said, tsunami that goes with the increase. It was like, hallelujah. Thank God at last the federal government is saying, yes, it's going to go down to the 3 tiers of government, even to the private sector, 30,000 Naira. Until last week, the Governors Forum, they met, and Abdulaziz Yari came forth to say, look, Nigerians, we are sorry. We just can't settle for this. We can't foot the bill. We're struggling to pay 18,000 naira. And now you tell us to pay 30,000 naira. The big question now is the same question I threw at him. I want to throw it at you. Were they absent in the meeting?
He absolutely also answered the question. They appended their signatures to the agreement. The collective bargaining process has been concluded. The deal has been done, signed, sealed, and delivered to the table of Mr. President. And what is remaining for Mr. President is to transmit it by way of a bill, amendment bill, to the National Assembly.
Simple.
And I can tell you the National Assembly is anxiously waiting. And I'll be rest assured that that bill, if it comes to the National Assembly, will not take up to a month for it to be passed.
Yes.
Nigerians are waiting.
Yes.
You cannot be shifting the goalpost at the middle of the game. Not even when the game has even been concluded. This is not even the middle of the game. The game has been concluded.
They have representatives.
They were represented, adequately represented. They signed. So this is what they used to do to ASU. When federal government will enter into agreement with ASU, all parties will sign. At the end of the day, they will renege on the agreements. But as we have it today, I think they should not touch the head of the lion.
They should not touch the head of the lion.
Because trouble looms. Apart from that, they do not have the moral justification. With due respect to the very responsible governors who have kept on saying they will pay whatever is agreed. Minimum wage 30,000. Nobody says you cannot even pay above that 30,000. We only say minimum. A state can decide to say I'm paying 50 as minimum. In the United States of America, minimum wage is regulated centrally by the federal government. There are mechanisms for increase of wages without even the general public even knowing.
No.
You can agree to say yes. The law provides every year increase. Okay. Since the last one was in 2011, how many years now? We're in 2018. Have they been following the law of the Federation? No. A mechanism can be put in place to say, okay, depending on the inflationary trend, when inflation goes high, let us top up by 5% without waiting for the workers to come and start agitating. Year in, year out, let us even be doing 5% year in, year out to help cushion the inflation and some other trends that may be coming in negatively for these workers. They don't even think of any of these ones. I think the fundamental problem we have in this country is if politicians earn minimum wage, a governor earns like a permanent secretary. This quarrel will not be there. These troubles will not be there. You cannot imagine, for instance, a councillor at the local government level earns even more than a permanent secretary who has spent 35 years in service. But if we have a scale that is applicable generally, even the oil workers, let everybody earn the same salary. Let this be on the same salary platform. Nobody will quarrel. We go to the same market. Our children go to the same health institutions, higher institutions of learning. Just mention it. Where you buy is where we buy. Then, for those, in fact, they don't know what they are playing with. When I just mentioned they should not touch the head of the lion, I know what I'm talking about. Politically and otherwise, Nigerians are wiser now.
More lighting.
You cannot be expecting election in February here. You are telling us what you are telling us. No matter the machinery of manipulation that you may want to plant on ground, this machinery will also be operated by workers. The policemen are workers. Do you know that? The army, they are all workers. Though they are not allowed to unionize, they are all workers. Even the pensioners will be affected by this. Because the consequential increases that fall into this will also trickle back to the pensioners. So I am sure maybe some of them may have, so to speak, may have already accepted because of the looming crisis then. And now maybe they are now beginning to see, oh, we cannot. Why not put the cards on the table?
Okay.
What is your income? If you take almost $1 billion as a security vote on monthly basis that you do not account for, let's say we say 500 million. Do you know how many people lives 500 million can touch? $1 million per person. How many people? 500 million persons. let's say $1 million on a monthly basis per person. Is there any state in this federation that has up to 500 million people? Nigeria as a country have up to 500 million. Then if the city government takes 500 million, that is more, $1 million per person is more than 2-3 times the population of Nigeria on a monthly basis. I'm not talking of the National Assembly legislators. I'm not talking about the influence that council chairman will take. Just look at it, the reasonability, look at it. Then somebody sits down and tells you that a peasant worker, so to speak, who is on grade level 1, step 1, is being paid 30,000. How much is dollar? 360 to $1. In a month, 30 days, let's say 30 days.
Even less than $100.
Is it not less than $100? Then what are they talking about? In fact, they should bury their heads in shame.
All right, we want to go into those harsh terms right now.
I'm used to it. I'm going to consider every people will use it.
All right.
Except you tell me I should leave the studio.
Please watch your emotions.
Okay.
Watch your emotions. Now, let me come to you now. They gave a reason saying, look, we just can't foot this bill. Were they under pressure before they put pen to paper for everyone to say, yes, we've had an agreement?
Listen, there's no reason, there's no excuse the governors are going to give to us. As my fellow colleague just said, the game has been concluded. 2-1, 3-0, bam. They have agreed 30,000. All we are waiting for is the National Assembly, the House of Rep, to put it to bill, to sign it to law. Once it is signed to law, in their different individual states, it is still left for them to make their own decisions that they don't want to pay the 30,000. Then they will wait for the voters, the electorates, the common man that put them there when the election comes. And then they will know Nigerians are well enlightened today. Nigerians are following up what is going on. What I would have even expected from them to collaborate with the ministers and the House of Assembly and House of Rep to bring a special bill to say, let's go in review of our own salary. Then after going on review, because the president will have his own salary, for example, why can't they themselves put on a bill in the House of the National Assembly and say, let's checkmate our income and let's see what can come out of it. We calculated last time, billions of naira will definitely be saved. And if those billions of nairas are saved, and goes back to the constituency, will the governors have a complaint they cannot pay the salary? Let's leave the security vote in the first place. Their salary first and foremost, and the amenities they get. Cut it half. Until we have the right people in the National Assembly too, we will always have problem too. Because they themselves are there wholeheartedly for their personal interests. Because if they are not there for their own personal interest, as long as a president has given an example and I say, this salary now is too much, cut it down. I will take this home. Let's leave cost other things alone. Can't they push a bill? Can one representative from Edo State, from Lagos State to one place say, let's review our incomes for the national interest, for the interest of our people? No. They are even fighting to go there because they have bouncing billions to go there. They are not chosen by the people. They were put there by the people indirectly because it's a party system. Party supreme.
Party system, party supremacy.
So,
okay.
Those supremacy, at the end, will also affect them when the time comes. All these governors shouting now, collaborating to say we can't pay. The tsunami will meet them in the front.
All right. Tsunami will meet them in the front. Your own statement. I'll just keep on trying to paint it in my head. What kind of tsunami? I'll come back to you on that. Now, the governors, though from what you said, the match has been concluded already.
Yeah. It's a done deal.
It's a done deal.
Don't go back there again.
But it hasn't been pushed yet.
Do
you see the decision right now by the governors affecting what was agreed on previously? Because they don't want to pay their states.
Let me tell you, the deal has been signed, sealed, and delivered. We're only waiting for the National Assembly, and I tell you within a month, first, second, and third reading will pass. And we wait on Mr. President to assent to the bill. They all know what is awaiting them very soon. Though I speak like this, I must give kudos. I'm aware of some governors, very responsible, so to speak. I'm not saying others are not responsible, so to speak, very responsible, who will tell you they are ready to pay. We say this is just the first round of negotiation that has been concluded. When it becomes law, be rest assured that even these same governors will also open up another type of negotiation in their own states.
Yeah.
If they had just come out strictly to say, we want a review of the revenue formula. Yes, the people in the National Assembly all come from our states. Even organized labor can decide to say, every state organized labor reach out to your legislators to expedite action on this review.
Yeah.
I am an apostle of devolution of powers. All the monies are over-concentrated in the hands of the federal government, and they are not doing anything. Mineral resources, natural resources are domiciled in our backhouses, and yet you are pulling all the money to that place. To do what? Let the governments control their resources and pay royalty to you. That's constitutional amendment. Of which, if they are serious, it can be done within a month.
And the law of federalism allows it.
Yes, they should do all this. If the governors had canvassed this, to say, yes, though we have agreed, but we are asking that as a matter of urgency, this thing be done. While they are doing their political calculations, they should also allow organized labor to say, please help. We reach out to our brothers, because those who are in the National Assembly, even at the House of Assembly, they are all our brothers and sisters. They are married to workers. Even they themselves are workers, so to speak. So we reach out. With the general consensus, there is need to do this thing. And if they do that, there is no problem. Labor is not even saying governors should not take what they are taking, provided it is within the purview of the law. But what they are saying is that if they don't have anything to say, they should keep quiet and allow a deal that has been concluded to say through the news. Therefore, we suggest and support devolution of powers. I don't know why all the billions of dollars should be concentrated in the federal government's hands. What are they doing with the money? A federal road is bad in Edo. You have to go and write to the federal minister before it is fixed. Why? Edo has natural resources along the shores and others. Edo cannot explore such natural resources for the good of the people of Edo State and contribute to the central government for the purpose of defense and foreign policies. Then you take all monies there, and you still take a higher percentage of this so-called money. Value-added tax are being collected from states. You take a higher share of it and give them peanuts. What are you doing with the money? That's what I expect the governors to be talking about. And we will follow up. We will follow up, and we can tell you, if we are resolved on it, let them reach out to us to help them solve the problems. Will we?
All right. Then what about some states that don't have resources like other
states?
No
state in this federation. There is no state. God has so much blessed this country. Even inside the ground, gold, coal, all of them are there.
All right, now because some states really, they are not blessed with these resources.
There is no state. You are looking at petroleum resources. But
right now, we are coming to that. Talk about petroleum resources. Talk about metals, minerals. Some states don't really have this.
Definitely, we have some states that might not have the resources.
We see what means federalism. There is no state in this federation that God has not put a abundant blessing underneath the soil.
Through agriculture, definitely.
Do you know that granite alone? States can even export granite. States can export granite and earn foreign exchange.
Okay.
Do you know how many mineral resources inside our ground all over the country that has not even been tapped at all?
I'll come back to you on that. Now you just hold on now. About the resources. Because really, if you take a look at it, resources, they say, of various caliber, talking about their purchasing power, and some states are not blessed like some in Nigeria. How do you review that?
It is a very clear issue. We are living in a, we are operating a federalism. I will take a case study of Germany. Why I will take a case study of Germany? Because Germany operates the same federalism. It's a federal system too, where there are states that have real incomes, that make money. Where they have some states which are very, very low in income, resources, I mean. What do? The bigger states, they contribute to the federal pocket out of their resources they make. From their resources, the federal government subsidizes those states with finance, support those states financially. It is not also different in Nigeria. If really we can reoperate the federalism, it will not be different. If, for example, Edo State and all those states that are well blessed with natural resources can really make big business with their resources and give to the federal government, and the federal government have its own resources of reserve. If there's a state like in the northeast where we have some, maybe some poor states, we'll call it. I don't understand. It's not that they don't have resources. All they need to do, you look at what is good over there, agriculture. Then the federal government will pump money into there that he gets from other states. Automatically, that same state will be able to carry himself along with little support from the federal government. Before you know, that state could be a self-sufficient state as well with time. It is about, we need to be innovative right now. The governors need to be innovative. They got to wake up. They got to wake up. The time is gone, you wait for the federal government to always bring money to you. They should start opening their eyes to their states. Start making research. What can we do? What can we boost in our individual state to bring in more incomes? I don't understand. In whichever way, I don't believe the federal government will stop them from not doing it. For example, like what he said, that if maybe a state like Ondo, which is very good in granites, decide to start exporting, I don't believe the federal government will say no to that. But basically, it's a bargain issue.
Bargain issue. Now let's dwell on your... all right.
The governors, what they are supposed to be doing now, as I said again, now the deal has been done, is to take their barrel and paper now and start doing homework, how to satisfy those workers with their possible resources.
Okay. They gave two conditions. Before I come to those conditions, you talked about resource control. You know, this fight has been on for quite a long time, and the federal government isn't agreeing to it. Now, let's take a look at one of the conditions given by this governor. Said, look, the federal government should increase their allocation. Do you see the federal government doing it now for them to cushion the effect of 30,000 naira minimum wage? Now that is the first condition. Over to you.
As far as we are concerned, that condition is very, very unnecessary.
In what terms?
Because the APC government controls over 20 states in the federation. Is that not so? The other states are controlled by the other political parties. The president is he not from a constituency? Does he not have brothers and sisters who are workers? Even the same governors who are talking, don't they have relations who are workers? The communities they come from, are there no workers in that place? Even right in their bedroom, is the Nigerian worker that works in there.
There too.
So I cannot just imagine giving condition. All you need to do before now, when people have been shouting and talking about devolution of power,
start thinking solution.
Increase in the revenue allocation to states. We have always advocated that. But most of the times, these politicians, so to speak, they get so beclouded with some other things. They leave the reality on ground and they pursue shadows. It is when the reality now dawns on them that their eyes start getting open. to say, oh, this, we will need this, we will need this. Why are you now pitching it on workers 30,000 naira demand that you have already signed, sealed and delivered? They are coming back to say what? No, it's a no-go area. That is a concluded deal. They have a right to approach the presidency. Can governors not put up a bill and sponsor through their
executive,
through their own people in the National Assembly? Why can't the governors not put up a bill to the National Assembly if the federal executive is not willing to? Individuals in the National Assembly, they sponsor bills.
Yes.
Even outsiders can sponsor bills through their representatives.
Yeah.
Why can't they put up a bill to say maybe they have discussed in-house, the thing is not yielding the result, let's go the other way? Because the people in the National Assembly are our own people, whom the federal executive is also responsible to. Lobby them. Every state government lobby. Don't forget that the issue of local government autonomy, most of them lobby their legislators and others to kill it. If you can lobby to kill many things like that, why can't you lobby to get something done that will benefit everybody? People. Devolution of powers, resources, mineral resources are in the hands of the Federal Ministry of Solid Minerals. If you are talking of the petroleum resources in the hands of the Petroleum Ministry, why? What are they doing there? And you grumble and you are living in penury every now and then. You are not able to make the basic amenities available to your people. Everybody, every citizen that you are paying 80,000 is busy thinking of how to carry loan to build a house, provide water for himself, buy a better pass my neighbor, provide his medical services, provide everything for himself. From the 80,000 naira minimum wage. And you had the gut to sit down somewhere and tell the whole world that you don't have the resources to pay 30,000? 30,000 that cannot feed your dog that guides you in a day. In fact, with all due respect to the governors who have really lived up to our expectations, I must say, for instance, Edo and some other governors, they have lived up to our expectations in terms of commitment. But we will know if such commitment they have made now will become useful and fruitful at the long run.
All right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, the same question goes to you. The first condition, increase allocation. Are they wrong for asking? because what he said that wouldn't even cut it.
We see my
but
brother.
They're asking. Just increase it to allow us to pay.
I will just answer that. Listen to me. I will just answer that in a very short form. My Oga will say. Oga President, may I use language where people go understand. Oga President talked about a week ago. He said, EFCC account for the money, the more they did now. Now they don't say 30,000. So this governor, that money, wait now, what is that? Only Buruku. We need that money. How would they complain now? This 30,000 when they say me could just pay so me could come out to talk. Maybe bailout will still come from EFCC money.
So what you're saying is target to the bailout?
It's target to bailout. All this allocation increasement. Stop thinking of allocation increasement. Allocation increasement will not take any state to anywhere.
But are they wrong for asking?
They are wrong. They should start thinking of what the state can do.
Because right now the labor force is asking. They don't have the right also to ask from the Oga.
No. My Oga, that allocation, we don't even know what they do with them. Okay, look at now for some weeks now. Edo State, and we are in darkness. So you now imagine somebody for 3 weeks now that being in darkness from 30,000 naira to sustain himself. First and foremost, he will go around the whole environment before he can get water. Then he will go and buy one jerrycan for 25 naira. Some even sell for 40 naira. We call some area GRO, which is Europe, some place Africa. In Africa, some sell for 40 naira. In Europe, some sell for 25 naira. Then you expect that man every day to buy a jerrycan, to bath, to flush, to go. Calculate it in the month. What he has left his pocket alone. And the governors are looking. No one is doing anything about it. Then you are now coming to tell them that that money will not be available for them, when they know yours is always available. No matter how big yours is, no matter how large, it is always available. Brother Wilson, they just came to try so that they can get something.
And the governor,
for me, I believe it is a strategy.
I think it's a strategy for campaign.
It's a strategy.
Just 2 days back.
Yeah.
Use billions for campaign. A governor. Billions for campaign.
For a governor to provide 100 cars, buses. So do you know how much is a bus?
Are you not saying that they're asking for this to aid their campaign or to fuel their campaign?
For me, they are asking because they are interested in that money Buhari want to get now from EFCC. They want money, more money, but forgetting that salary is not a short-term issue. Salary is a long-term issue. You get a bill out today. What of tomorrow? Will you also get a bill out?
No, because what they're talking about, if you increase the allocation, it's going to be a monthly thing. And that will cushion the effect.
In some aspect, have they worked the money that will cushion their effect, that will increase the allocation? Have they gone back to their own self to add what we can add as a value to the federal government to increase their allocation? They should ask themselves questions first. I believe most of them make this noise just because of interest, personal interest, wholeheartedly, not because of interest of the workers. That is for me very, very clear.
Personal interests.
It's their personal interest they did that complaint. But by the time they get back to their constituents, I believe they will not even be able to voice it out.
All right. Second condition.
Because their own brother will stone them.
Okay. Second condition. Either you give us, increase our allocation, or, I know you would want to hear this.
Go ahead.
Or slash your workforce.
Go ahead.
Retrenchment.
Retrenchment. That was the second option.
Do they even have a workforce? Go and take a census of the states, apart from Lagos, Rivers, Delta, and some other few other states that are able to generate internal revenue in billions.
Yeah.
Who keep on employing. How many states have employed for the past 10 years? Go to the civil service and see whether you will not be counting. When you are supposed to have up to 18,000, 19,000, you will be seeing 2,000 and some fraction. Do you know how many offices are so empty in this federation, even up to the federal government offices? They are empty. Those, let me take teaching for instance. Do you know that the teachers in this federation, for instance in Ondo, you are supposed to require no less than 22,000 teachers. Additional. Were it not for the policy of Adams that 60 years should be the template for retirement, I'm telling you, all Professor Ali teachers and all Professor Ali, all the workers recruited by Ali, they would have all left service last year and this year. The majority, the service would have been so low. Likewise, all the states of the federation. But that is not to say that the governors are asking that they need additional resources. It's out of place. It's not out of place. What I'm quarreling with is, why now? The approach they are adopting. You are trying to put a cog somewhere to make it be said that it's because of this that this will not happen. Revolution can happen in this country.
No, we are.
We're in the ambit.
We are not.
Revolution is not only when you carry gun or you throw stones
or you fight.
In quotes, or when you fight. There are different forms of revolution. A governor can no longer enter his community because the people are angry. They are not carrying stones.
No. The faces alone.
The faces will tell you
of his own brothers.
that you are not welcome in this community. A House of Assembly member or any politician.
Well, you can't go to your.
That when you not see the people, their faces will tell you you are not welcome here. That is a revolution. In all of this, whatever they know they need to do to pay this minimum wage, 18,000, 30,000, is about 65–66% increase. That was supposed to have done many years back. Now be done now. Whereas the inflation is still double digits. There are consequences that go with all these decisions. If the fundamentals are not there, the consequences will continue. No water, no electricity, no good road, no rail system, no housing unit, no social services, social welfare, nothing is on ground, nothing is working. The people are willing to make money and improve the economy, but the government is not making the basic amenities available for them to do it. These issues will continue. 30,000 is even too small for a salary for an average Nigerian worker. But Labour has decided to say, okay, let's start from somewhere. There's somebody is still sitting somewhere to say, no, That's a sacrilege.
Sacrilege.
In the face of God.
All right. Cutting down the workforce. But he said, we never have a workforce.
They don't even have.
Listen.
So should they go better because they gave two conditions, increase the allocations or we slash the workforce?
You know,
in addition, even with the one they have, International Labour Organization Convention, there are rules for disengagement. You can't just wake up one day and say you are disengaging people because you want to disengage people.
All right.
When we get to the river, we will cross the bridge. What the fowl uses in hatching its eggs is right inside his body.
Over to you.
My great Wilson, you know, when you see something coming, and they're doing it, it is very, very funny to me. Okay, I remember the last time I came here to discuss about this issue. I told you the next thing they will start telling us how they want to reduce the workforce, how they want to retrench because the salary is too high now, this and that, this and that. We saw it come that they're going to do that, come about with that. But do they have the conscience, the courage to really do that to their own people? I advocated that last time too. When somebody was saying even 60,000 can be paid, I said yes. 100,000 can be paid as a minimum wage. But the basic point what we don't understand is this. If 30,000 now being accepted, I should even be happy that we can even maybe employ more into the system. Because really, the unemployment rate.
That is one of the reasons why Labour accepted 30,000.
Yes, so that they can
come into the system.
So they can bring in more people into the system. That was what it's supposed to be. They had it at 60. They had it at 60,000 naira. But they now look at it. When we bring it a little bit down, maybe to enable them to still bring it, because the unemployment of the country, the youth most especially right now, is going up and up and up. Very, very high. So they should now be thinking of how to even bring more people, to reduce the unemployment rate, to reduce the criminal mindset of the people. Because you see everywhere now, even in Benin, for example, which is where salaries are well paid, but because of the unemployment in the society, 6 o'clock, people run into their house already. 7 o'clock, they start rushing going home. What is the cause of that? It's an insecurity. The youths need employment, not retrenchment. The governors should be start innovative. How we can bring more people in? How we can make more money from our state resources? I still go back there. It's a federal system. A state government can fix a road. All you need to do later on, apply to the federal government to get his cost back.
They don't even need federal government. Federal government should give them the powers to fix their roads.
You understand me? So,
allow them control their
they go
resources.
ask again for the money and they get the money back most times. We see it all happen. But the problem we got to tell those governors is what we are always in bold to say. Go back home and do your homework. Go fish out what is good in your state. What resources is in your state? What can the federal government do with that resources? Then try to work with the labor force so that they can push these things that the federal government should invest over there. Instead of raising hand for bailouts, let those money be pumped into resources.
Are you not also aware that the bailout have also been diverted by some governors before now?
Yes. Instead, like a Jakarta state.
Those are just speculations, and we don't have speculations here.
Okay.
Let those bailout, those resources be pumped into those resources. What those states are asking for. And be monitored. Automatically there will be more employment. There will be more revenue for the state and for the federal government. Automatically.
All right.
And the people and the environment with that firm is also going to be endowed with blessings.
Okay.
Because they will provide automatically social amenities in that environment to the people there.
Okay.
They should go home
Now.
and do their homework. I'm not telling no retrenchment or talking of allocation.
Allocation. Okay. Now, they've talked about slashing of the workforce, which both of you totally disagree to.
That's a logo area.
But don't you think that is going to make the unemployment rate to be on the increase?
It's already astronomically on the increase.
But right now, paying of 3,000.
But I've told you
Nobody
that
hope at all of employment.
there is hope for employment. Like he said, it's only a few governors that have put on their thinking caps.
Yes.
Giving up job by government is different from creating jobs. Job creation is what we want our governors to be pursuing. Government giving job is in a limited space. For instance, Edo State government want to recruit. There is a limited number of persons government can recruit. But if you have a number of good industries, both in the agricultural sector and many other sectors present in the state, you discover all these industries and companies who absorb more persons.
Automatic.
There is no way government alone can provide job for everybody. Government cannot even provide job for half the population of those who are eligible. It is not possible anywhere in the world. But most of our governors are just sitting in the offices waiting for federal allocation. They are not reaching out to organizations. They are not being innovative. Even with the resources available to them, they are not even able to even carry investors in, to push them, liaise with the federal government, and get these industries sited in their areas. Many of the governors are not able to do that, except few. Except very few.
You know, they can make money.
So when you hear, for instance, a governor tells you, I'm going to create 50,000 jobs. The governor is not telling you, I'm going to give you 50,000 vacant positions. Creating job is different from giving jobs. Creating job, as far as the government is concerned, is bringing in both the private and public sector organizations to make sure more citizens are employed. But if government decides to say, we have 50,000 vacancies. The resources available by our budget can take care of only 10,000. Which of the sectors can we send these 10,000? Where do we really need them? Scale of preference. Education, we need more. In the cost civil service, social number. And when you say civil service, you know, Ministry of Agriculture, different ministries are all there. Government can, in no place in the world where government can provide 50% of employment for the desirable citizens. It's the private sector that drives any economy. And unfortunately, let me say, the federal government has not been able to encourage most private investors to come into the country to invest. Instead, many of them who invested before have repatriated their investments, especially because of security challenges and many other factors. So what we expect state governments to be doing, and the federation, government of the federation, is that bring in more investors. Not when you say bring in more investors, not necessarily foreign investors. There are indigenous investors that must be encouraged. Relax your taxes. If there are areas that have not been fully tapped, we have the capacity and propensity by our businessmen to tap into it. Give them tax holidays, tax freedom. Let them go to such fields and open it up. As you are opening it up, the products from such organizations will be cheap because they are not paying heavy tax. They are not even paying tax for a very long period. And more of our people will be employed. Do you even know that? Let me tell you, listen. Do you know if we have steady electricity? And in Edo State, for instance, we have 5,000 welders. 5,000 welders. Do you know how many welders such 5,000 welders can produce within 3-4 years? Who will not be established?
I swear.
Wow.
Do you know, for instance, we have stable electricity. Then our tailors, fashion designers, they are no longer peddling. They now use the current to run their machines. Do you know how many tailors we will generate? In fact, garment industry will even spring up.
Everywhere.
Do you know how many university graduates are into tailoring now? Our university graduates are no longer looking at the paper certification. Everybody is looking for handwork to do. And that is the best system of education. Even when you're a PhD holder, you can drive a taxi. If you have not gotten a lecturing job in the university and you have a system that works, most of our PhD holders, they drive taxis in the developed world, in the United States and everywhere, and they make good money. I know somebody who drives trailer all the way from Canada to United States, PhD holder. If you see his mansions all over everywhere, you will not believe.
Believe it, yeah.
Why can't we do all this? We can do all these things if the right atmosphere is present.
If the right atmosphere.
Don't forget, Dangote, there was a time Dangote advertised for his trucks. These trailers for delivery of, he advertised for drivers. Even PhD holders were applying in this same country. And Dangote himself said so, he said he was amazed. That even degree holders and others were applying to drive his truck and own it after some years.
That's it.
All right. Let's come to politics. You're a party man. Election is fast approaching. Do you think that this will tell well for your party comes 2019?
Well, listen, as I said before.
Because right now we have and confusions here and there.
As I said before, listen, most of these governors just complaining. They're not going back to tell their constituency that same stories they're agitating for. So, for that reason alone, I believe they will have to be careful, because they know their own brother will stone them when the time comes. And when is the time to stone them? Is when they come begging you with their nail. There's always a time every politician must kneel down to beg.
People are saying that it's once in 4 years.
So there's always a time must come to beg. So when did that time come? The people will tell them the truth. Me personally, I said something last time, and I gave an interview yesterday on ITV too, because you said I'm a party man. I gave an interview yesterday that is very, very clear that this election that is coming up in 2019 is going to be a different election. Many people might not believe it, but it's going to be an election that individuals are going to matter a lot, not party. It is who you bring out in your party that is going to matter. So if whether PDP, whether APC, whether ADC, or whether AMPP, if you bring in as somebody, go and do your homework. It should be a credible person from the Constitution, from his constituency, accepted by all. And with the hope, when he gets there, he will also do the right thing. But if you fixture, impose candidate upon people, many will get bad on that day, mark on their shift. And they'll be surprised. The party will be divided. The National Assembly will be divided. Not where you have this one in more over majority. You find that the margin, there will be more opportunity of opposition to be able to establish their force in the National Assembly and otherwise. So the 2020 election, for me personally, though I stand for Buhari, based on his own integrity, I pray he wins it, because I know in his last tenure, most cabal will be broken down.
All right. I'll come back to you on that. Money Mike, I'm still going to ask you that question, because after the meeting of the Governors Forum, Waba came out spitting fire. What do you think Labour would do if the governors insist, after all, the video want to pay various states? We'll be right back after this break.